Examples of cruciform plan central dome churches of Armenia are the churches of Echmiadzin, Avan, Hripsime, Takmanchat Monastery, Karnahovit, and others. The mother church of Echmiadzin is located in the city of Echmiadzin of Almavi region. According to historical records, Saint Gregory the Illuminator and King Tirtat III built the church in 301 to 303. The church has been destroyed and rebuilt many times throughout history. Today it has a square structure of 22.5 meters by 20.72 meters. In the southern, northern, and western sides, altars are placed, which are octagon-shaped externally and semicircular internally. Two vestries flank the main altar. The main entrance of the church is from the western side, passing under the belfry. There are 4 great pillars in the central hall. The church has 2 more entrances. Arches attach the pillars and the walls to each other. The church contains Greek inscriptions and bar-lifts. One is a depiction of Apostle Paul, and the other shows 2 birds carved within a circle. These bar-lifts have been dated back to the 5th to 7th centuries, but some experts think that they belong to the 4th century. The temple has a circle of logs constituting a seismological belt, which was uncovered during the renovation of 1955. During this renovation, pieces of frescoes and mosaics were also discovered. In 1627, Mopsus Catholicus renovated the dome and different architectural structures. Then in 1633, the surrounding of the church was paved by Catholicus Philippos. In 1650–60, a tower-shaped belfry was added to the western side of the church. The table of descent was built right under the dome of the church in 1682 by Catholicus Yeryazar. Later on, the Catholicus Asvatsatur commissioned Nagash Hovnatan to cover the walls of the church with frescoes. The annex sections also include 4 domes over the 4 altars. During 1944 to 1955, major restoration works were carried out as well. The interior was decorated and upgraded during the years of 1950 to 60, when Vazgen I was the Catholicus of all Armenians. Today, the mother church of Echmiadzin is the seat of Catholicus of all Armenians. The church of Hripsime is found in the Echmiadzin city of the region of Armavir. Komitas Catholicus erected this church in 1618 on the tomb of Saint Hripsime. It is externally 7.5 meters wide and 22.5 meters long, rectangle. The plan is cruciform, where the transepts end with semicircular altars. The eastern and western altars are larger than the northern and southern. The Cathedral of Hripsime is square-cornered with vestries at each corner, and the exterior walls under the gaps are indented with trapezoidal niches. This arrangement results in thinner exterior walls, while at the same time enhances the structural integrity and aesthetic balance of the overall edifice. These niches were widely used later on in Armenian as well as Georgian architecture. The broad, massive outline of Saint Hripsime has an extraordinarily harmonious composition. Its lean, stable, and yet soaring structure is a fitting match to Ararat and Arakat, which grace its background. This simple and modest, but at the meantime highly revered structure is an architectural jewel of the early Middle Ages. Again, this church was ruined and restored many times throughout history. Catholicus Philippos carried out the major restorations needed for this church in 1653. The dome, roof, altars, and the walls were renovated. The floor was paved and a 4-cornered parvis was built on the western side. In 1776, a brick rampart was built around the church, and in 1894, stone ramparts replaced the southern and eastern parts of the rampart. The interior was renovated and upgraded during the years of 1958 to 62. During excavations done at the eastern side of the church, tri-nave basilica and winepress remnants were uncovered. Despite all these renovations and restorations, the original appearance and form of the church has been well preserved by the architects. Circular churches also belong to the Cruciform plan central dome church category. A great example of this category is the Church of Zavatnot. We have inherited the Church of Zavatnot in a completely ruined state. This church, which is also called the Church of Angels or St. Gregory Church of Araspar, is located 3 kilometers east of Echmiadzin, which legend says is the meeting point of Gregory, the Illuminator, and King Tirtat. The church was built in 641 to 662 by Catholicus Neses Taietsi. The design for Zavatnot is based upon a square, cruciform plan containing 4 apses, surrounded by 35.75-meter diameter ring-like hall. The apses, except the eastern apse, are developed through colonnaded semicircular arcade of 6 pillars, which meet at 4 massive pillars supporting the central dome. The 4th side arm is a circular wall with abundant frescoes and artistic carvings. The first level is surrounded by a near circular polygonal gallery which, on the interior, is delimited by a quadrifoil pattern composed of 4 eagle-topped pillars and 4 arcaded semicircles joining the pillars. These arcades enclose the space vaulted by the apses as seen from the inside and support the second tier as seen from the outside. The 4 pillars framing the apses support the third tier, which, in turn, is crowned by the central dome. The church had 5 entrances. This structure was the first of its kind in the Armenian architecture, with cosmopolitan concepts and ideas. The Zavatnot church differs from the other churches, not only by its architectural style, but also by its magnificent decorations with sculptured floral and geometric patterns and decorative pillars and arches. This design was emulated in Armenia and neighboring countries and had a significant influence of Armenian architectural design throughout the succeeding centuries. The Zavatnot is considered a masterpiece of architecture. It is a great representative of early Armenian Middle Ages architecture and occupies a rightful place in the world architecture. Another variation of the cruciform plan churches are the churches where the cruciform was expressed in the exterior and interior by different adaptations of the arms of the cross. The side arms of the cross contain the semicircular altars from the inside and octagon-shaped from the outside, fitted on the main axis of the church. One encounters domes on pendatives and other variations. Some examples of the above-mentioned category are the St. Theodorus Church of Bagaran, St. Hovhannes Church of Mastad, the large Church of Artek, St. Asvatazin Church of Oskepar, Grigor Church of Harij,